So today, we're going to take this big pile of cedar branches and turn it into a beautiful truckload of cedar wood chip mulch. Now in a previous video, we showed you how to break down a tree and prepare those branches for chipping. Today, those branches have been hauled over, sorted, and stacked, and are all ready to run through this beautiful DR wood chipper. So we're going to give you a few tips and tricks for doing this safely and efficiently so you can enjoy making your own wood chip mulch too. We're all set, so let's turn the tractor on and make some mulch. We find it's best to set up your chipping piles so the butt ends face the chipper, like shown here. This minimizes having to swing the branches around to get them into the hopper, and it lets you work faster. Make sure this orientation is sensible for the rest of your equipment. Here we chose the site where the truck, the tractor, and the chipper make a simple right angle opposite the branch piles. It's tempting to just pile everything up into a few giant stacks, but these end up getting tangled, making it harder to separate individual branches. It's a lot more efficient to make a series of smaller piles. It's also sensible to sort these piles by branch curvature, so that straight branches aren't intermixed with curvy ones. Finally, unlike the piles shown here, it's best to try and keep all the butt ends in about the same plane. All of these steps will make it faster and easier to draw out branches during chipping. Try to balance branch prep and chipping. If you get too ahead of yourself, you may not get back to chip everything you prepped. This isn't just a waste of work and material, it can be a lot harder to clean up later once brambles and other brush start growing into neglected piles. This old pile with a big rose bush in it really just needs a match taken to it. Finally, waiting too long can lead to dried out branches, which are much less pleasant to chip. So this is not a full safety video on how to use a chipper. You need to read the manual and do some thinking and use common sense. But I do want to mention a few safety points. First of all, ear protection is an absolute must. I often use earbuds and earphones, and I still end up feeling stunned after a round of doing this. So just wear the ear protection. Second, eye protection is pretty necessary. I also find these uncomfortable, but again, there are branches wrapping around, beating me in the face, hitting me over the head. It's just not worth it. And even if I wear glasses, scratching glasses becomes a problem. So these end up being pretty useful. I find gloves extremely helpful simply because my hands get torn up with all the vibration. It's pretty important to have gloves that you can cinch down and make tight. You don't want these getting yanked off and pulled down into the chipper. If you do end up getting a jam in the chipper like that, don't try to get your hand in there. Do not do this. You want to grab a branch and use a branch like a plunger to clean out any jams, or at worst, turn it off. Finally, chipping produces a lot of dust, and frankly, I hate wearing masks, but sawdust is nasty to the lungs in any quantity, so a good mask is just a sensible precaution with the amount of dust that's going to be flying around while doing this. Otherwise, just use common sense, be safe, and you can get a lot of good work done with this thing. Trying to stuff too many branches down the hopper doesn't work, but feeding small ones alone is a waste of time. The right size bundle includes as much material as will still feed easily into the hopper. This also means bundling branches of similar size and curvature, adding up to the collective diameter of the biggest branch you'd want to safely feed in. Even if you choose perfect feeding bundles, inevitably some small stuff starts clogging up the chute. The easiest way to clear these clogs is to run a single large branch through now and then like a plunger. This means you don't want to chip all your big stuff first. Cycling through the sizes makes sure you always have a few plungers on hand. Keep a rake and pitchfork handy. Wood chips tend to pile up near the outlet chute, so pausing now and then to shove them out of the way will avoid clogs or waste. It's probably safest not to run anything to the chipper while you're doing this. 2 people are faster and safer than 1. You can certainly run a chipper alone, but it takes a lot more time and energy as you have to walk back and forth grabbing branches while the engine roars. Having one person feeding the hopper and another serving up appropriate bundles of branches saves a lot of fuel and time. It also ensures you have someone free to run and shut off the equipment if there's an accident or other problem. So doing some additional prep work ahead of time and working together efficiently meant that we were able to convert this big pile of cedar branches into this nice truckload of cedar mulch that we can now use to go make our orchard wonderful.